All right, guys, so we're going to start Unit 7 today. This is kind of an extension of the factoring unit that we just got through with before spring break. So I am going to show you today the next step. So when we were doing our stuff last week, we had something where we started with like x squared plus 9x minus 10, and we had to do like we did our A, C, B, F, right? And we had to do the steps with that. So we had like -10 and +9. And then we had like 10 and -1. And then we did the box and we put them all in there, blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up having 2 sets of parentheses, right? So our next step today is learning how to actually solve these parentheses. And in order to do that, we have to find out what x actually equals. So in order to have it equal something, it has to start by equaling 0. Like we have to have an equal sign in there to be able to solve. So all of our equations today are going to be equal to 0 every time. So that's kind of going to be your first step. Set equal to 0 each time before you can start. And so when we are going to be getting into the factoring part, you're looking for that 0 to be the first step. Then if it's already in parentheses, then you're ready to go. Like this would actually be the final step in this process of factoring, right? So I've done all the hard work for you on example 1. What we're trying to figure out is what is x if they multiply together and equal 0? Well, if 2 things multiply together, we know that one of them, to equal 0, we know that one of those things has to be 0. So we're trying to figure out what are we going to plug in here for x so that this set of parentheses equals 0. So we do that by setting it equal to 0 and solving. Well, this is a -9. So to get rid of it, I have to add 9. And adding 9 gives me x equals 9. The other side gives me 5x plus 4 equals 0. I have to subtract 4 from both sides, and I get 5x equals -4. And then to end it, I divide by 5. So my second answer would be -4/5. If I plug each one of these into x in each one of the parentheses, then that set of parentheses will equal 0. Hence, giving us 0 for an answer when we're done if we're multiplying. Okay? So the hard part is if it's not given to you already factored, then we have to factor like we did last week. So first question, does it equal 0? Yes, that's a check. And then we start with our factoring. So we say, is there a GCF? Just like last week. This would be a no for this one because it's 1 and 11. So we start with our A, C, B, and F. Okay? So on this part, we've got A, B, and C, just like last week. This gives us 24, -11, and the product of 24 with a sum of -11 would be -8 and -3. Okay, then these replace our B value, so I have x squared minus 8x minus 3x plus 24 equals 0. There's our 4 terms, so they go in our box. We have x squared, -8x, -3x, and 24. These share an x, these share an x, and then to multiply here, we have -8 and -3. So my parentheses become x minus 3 times x minus 8 equals 0. Now I'm right back to where I was up top. X minus 3 equals 0. X minus 8 equals 0. I'm solving to figure out what x would be. This one would give me 3. If I add 8 on both sides here, this one would give me 8. So my answers for that are x equals 3 and x equals 8. Okay, so same processes that we had last week with factoring. We're just looking at it another step further, which is solving. Okay, so this one doesn't equal 0, which means I have to get rid of 40. Okay, adding 40 over to make it cancel. Now, I'm not actually adding because none of these 3 things are like terms. So I'm just going to have 4x squared plus 26x plus 40, and it all equals 0. Okay? Now, GCF would be our next question, and yes, it does. The GCF here would be 2 because 4 doesn't go into 26. So I'm going to pull the 2 out in front. I've got 2x squared plus 13x plus 20 equals 0. Then this would be my A, B, and C. So AC gives me 40. My B value is 13. And my factors that make 40 and 13 would be 8 and 5. These two replace B. So I have 2x squared plus 5x plus 8x plus 20. Okay. These are my 4, so they go in the box. 2x squared, 5x, 8x, and 20. These guys share an x. These share a 2x. Multiply by 5, multiply by 4. And my parentheses are x plus 4 times 2x plus 5 equals 0. Now, I have this guy out in front, but it's already a 2. So I can't solve something that says 2. If I were to put 2 equals 0, well, it doesn't. So that doesn't work. So I still only have these two to give me my answers. If this guy is positive 4, my answer is going to be negative because I'll subtract it. Then this one is 2x plus 5 equals 0. Subtract 5 from both sides, and I have 2x equals negative 5. So when I divide by 2, I have x equals negative 5 halves. Okay? All right, 2 more. So this one down below is a special case. If you look at it, we have no b value, so my b is missing. It does equal 0, but I do have a GCF. So when I pull that out, I've got x squared minus 25 equals 0. If you're recognizing these are perfect squares, so this would be x minus 5 and x plus 5 equals 0. If you don't recognize that and you want to do the ACBF, oops, I keep putting E, F, then you would need to say this is A and this is C, and my B value is missing. So this would be negative 25 and 0, which would be negative 5 and positive 5, the same thing I just got right here. Okay, and so my answers would be x equals 5 and x equals negative 5. All right, last one. We have not equal to 0, so we have to put our like terms together. I'm going to add 3x cubed to the other 3x or cubed term, sorry. This is going to be gone. This is going to give me 5x, and it's still cubed because we're adding. 10x is going to be subtracted from 70x, so I'm going to have negative 35x squared plus 60x equals 0. Okay, I'm all set there. I do have a GCF, and it's 5x. So when I pull 5x out to the front, I'm left with x squared minus 7x plus 12 equals 0. My A, C, B, and F give me 12 and negative 7, which gives me factors of negative 3 and 4. So I have x squared minus 3x minus 4x plus 12 equals 0. And my 5x out in front. The box give me x squared, negative 3x, negative 4x, and 12. X and x is what they share, negative 3 and negative 4 to make it multiply. So I have x minus 3 times x minus 4 equals 0, and my GCF is 5x. Now, if your GCF has a variable, then we can still plug a number in there to make it equal 0. So 5x equals 0 is going to be another one of your answers. Divide by 5 on both sides, and we still get 0 for our answer. Then again, this is a negative, so my answer would be positive. And again, negative, so my answer is positive. So this one actually has 3 answers, and you'll know that because you'll have an exponent of 3. When you only have an exponent of 2, you only get 2 answers. Okay, so everything's the same as last week with factoring. We're just adding in the part about solving on the end. All right, good job.